Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 180 podcast right here at St. Paul's Bloor Street. We're glad you've joined us today to hear stories of transformation and change in people's lives. My name's Robert Herkmans. I'm one of the staff here at St. Paul's, and this month we've been asking the question, what does transformation look like? How do people's lives get turned around by the power of the gospel? I'm sitting down today with Peggy Abbott. Peggy, thank you so much for coming in and being part of the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. We talked a couple weeks ago, and it became apparent to me that your own life has gone through a bit of a 180 over the years.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, so I thought it would be great for other people to hear your story. And so why don't you take us back 10, 15, 20 years ago?
Well, in 2002, I was married. Not a great marriage. Living in Hyde Park. In October of 2002, I hit rock bottom. I was addicted to a nasal pain reliever, nasal nose spray, that I was given to help me work. It was supposed to help me work with my fibromyalgia.
Right.
But the addiction overtook my life.
Now, when you say it overtook your life, what did that look like?
That meant that from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, all I thought about was the stay doll.
Wow.
And when my next dose would be.
So it just consumed your thoughts.
Consumed my thoughts. And that terrified me because I couldn't focus on anything else. And I didn't like who I was becoming. And so I checked myself into the emergency room for a weekend to detox. And when I came out on the Tuesday morning, I was totally at loose ends. And so I sat down in my living room, started watching TV, and by chance, Joyce Meyer and then 100 Huntley Street came on, and a light bulb went off inside me.
So just for our listeners, Joyce Meyer and Huntley Street are both Christian talk shows, Christian television shows, right?
Yes, they are.
What do you mean a light bulb went off inside of you?
Well, for my 20s and 30s, I had spent my time searching. I was checking out New Age stuff, all kinds of things. I had a yearning inside me that I could never fulfill. I'd get interested in these things. They'd last for maybe 6 months, and then I'd be back trying for something else. Mm-hmm. And I realized it was Jesus that I had been searching for my whole life.
But then, does life all of a sudden get better?
No. I was still struggling because when I grew up, religion was forbade in my home.
So in your home growing up, there was no religion, no faith. It was not talked about.
No, my dad disowned my half-sister because she was going to church. I struggled because I was trying to reconcile with what I'd heard from my father with the feelings I had inside. And during that time, in 2005, our house was foreclosed on in March of 2005. And we ended up in a one-room motel room on the Lakeshore Strip for 15 months. Losing the house completely demoralized my husband, and he gave up on life. And because he didn't know the Lord, he had nothing to look forward to.
Not only have you lost your home, but in some ways you've lost your husband.
I did lose my husband. He completely retreated into himself, and I couldn't reach him.
So what did you do?
Well, for 15 months, I went for walks, read the Bible, although I did become depressed during that time. At that point, it was beginning of June, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do.
So what'd you do?
Well, I prayed, asking the Lord what to do. He told me to call 100 Huntley Street. And they suggested that I call the Salvation Army Evangeline Center. Evangeline Center told me about a shelter. It was on Edward Street, corner of Edward and Elizabeth. It was a city shelter, and it would accept both of us.
You and your dog?
Me and my dog. And they found me an apartment, a subsidized apartment over here on Wellesley Street, Wellesley and Parliament.
And was it a nice place?
It's a wonderful place. It's a nice big apartment.
Did you have a sense that God was watching out for you and caring for you? How did you feel about God?
I did feel that God was watching out for me. After that, I started looking for churches. I went to a few, and I came to St. Paul's, and I've never left. I have an email. I asked my group leader, I asked Terry, telling her I was doing this recording, and I wanted some info about how I had changed and grown in the time. And this is what she said. It seems to me that you came into our group as someone just at the beginning of a journey. You were hungry to know more about God and to engage in Christian fellowship. I would say that since that time, you've grown in confidence, your knowledge of Christ, and your desire to implement what you learn into your daily circumstances. You desire to reach out to others, to pray for others, and show love, care, and concern towards others. And I think you've come to appreciate the ways in which God has gifted you and been able to use those gifts both in the work world and in serving the body of Christ.
Now, can you just tell me who
Terry Gleason.
Who wrote that letter?
She's the leader of our small group here on Tuesday afternoons.
Well, that's wonderful. So she's seen a difference in your life.
Yes.
Have you seen a difference in your life?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Very definitely. I'm at peace. I'm at peace now. I actually went back to school in 2012 to train as a paralegal. I've now gotten a part-time job working at a great family law office at Young and Bloor. When I moved into my apartment in 2006, I never imagined I'd be where I'm at now. I've been in my small group now for going on 12 years. I now have a church family. I never really had my own family growing up. In fact, my church family is throwing me a birthday dinner tomorrow night. And it's true. The more you trust, the more you grow, the more you're at peace.
What would you say to someone who finds themselves going through a difficult time like you were going through?
Find the Lord and trust Him with your situation. He will help you 100%, 110% if you let Him. It may not be the circumstances you want, but ultimately, He knows what's best.
I want to say a great big thank you, Peggy, for sharing that story with us. It's a beautiful story of how God really did turn your life around and is continuing to turn your life around.
Yes, he is.
And many people here at St. Paul's know who you are because you're a friendly face, shaking hands on the way in on Sunday. You've found your place. You've found your place here in the church, and you've found a new purpose and a new life here in the community. It's an amazing story. So I wanted to say again, thank you so much for sharing it with us today. And God bless you as he continues to lead you forward.
Thank you.
And I also want to say thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to this week's podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, why not give us a like on Facebook or give us a thumbs up on YouTube? You can also check us out online at stpaulsbloor.org. So please join us again next week on the 180 podcast as we hear more stories about how God is changing lives today.